What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, bringing you our very first Wi-Fi battle of the X and Y generation. Our opponent today is Jai, and it looks like he has a Mega Evolution of Gardevoir on his team, and then some other staples like Azumarill and Talonflame and Aegislash, you know, all the OU regulars now in Wi-Fi battles and even on Showdown. As for my team, I've just got my usual Sun team here. I'm going to be introducing some new teams over the next couple of battles that I now have prepared, but at the time of filming this, I didn't. So I just was like, whatever, let's just do a, like, capture card test quality check thingamajiggy and not be too serious. And that's kind of what I went for here, especially because this team is just so awful against teams that have Stealth Rock. It just annihilates my entire team. I have no way to get rid of it. It's really sad, really, but thankfully that doesn't come into play here. So he starts off with his Talonflame, and I've got Heliolisk out. I'm guessing he was fearing a Choice Scarf, because otherwise he could just outspeed and kill me with Flare Blitz if he stayed in, but he didn't. So I went for the Volt Switch after he switches out to his Bankai Aegislash, and he takes that Volt Switch pretty nicely, and then I go into my Sableye, because Sableye almost always beats opposing Aegislashes one-on-one, so I'm guessing he knows that, and he's going to go into his Gardevoir to take a Foul Play, and I get a critical hit there, and that's, I don't know, that's kind of lucky, honestly, because Gardevoir does not have very high attack, so that would not normally do a lot of damage, and the fact that, on top of that, that this Gardevoir is the Mega Evolution for this team, you know, that just makes it that much worse, because now it can be picked off pretty easily by almost anything on my team. So that's that. So with a Moonblast coming to get rid of Sableye, switch into Arcanine, and he takes that kind of sort of nicely. I mean, it still does a lot of damage despite being not very effective, and that Mega Gardevoir is just scary, so I'm glad I got the critical hit on that, and I should be able to pick it off pretty easily later on. So now he's going to go into his Beach Ball Azumarill to take the Flare Blitz, and because Arcanine is a beast, that still does almost half, even though it's not a favorable type matchup. Now I'm thinking Aqua Jet is coming, so I need to switch out Arcanine here. I'm going to go into Ninetales to take it, because the sun will go up, so that should work in my favor. But I think what he was thinking here is that I was going to switch into either Heliolisk or Sawsbuck, both of which have a type advantage on Azumarill, so he's going for the Superpower, because they're both part normal types. But that didn't really work out too well, and I'm guessing he's Choice Banded, so he has to switch now. Back into Talonflame he goes, and he absorbs the Will-O-Wisp pretty nicely, so that was just an interesting couple of plays there. We both kind of just over-predicted, but I'm going to go for the Roar because this Talonflame, I mean, I can't really do anything to it. So I get Gardevoir back out, and I'm like, awesome, I can use Flamethrower and maybe almost kill this thing. But nope, he's going to go back into his Talonflame to take the Flamethrower, which is going to do almost nothing. Even in the sun, Ninetales just does not have that much power, and not to mention the fact that it's not very effective. So he's just going to roost that off like it's nothing. And one thing I don't understand here is why this Talonflame had Acrobatics. You know, a couple turns ago, he used Acrobatics on me. I don't know why it doesn't have Brave Bird. It doesn't make a lot of sense, especially because it's Life Orbed. It's just the dumbest thing that I've seen in a while. Well, maybe not the dumbest thing, but it just doesn't seem like the smartest move. But it worked out in his favor because he just ate up turns of Sunlight, and that's really bad for my team, especially because Ninetales is the main weather inducer that I have. It's holding a Heat Rock, so it just ate up valuable turns. But that kind of sucks. So eventually I go into Heliolisk. He had his Cloyster out that picked off my Ninetales with Ice Shard, and he forces that out, brings out his Bankai again. He takes the Solar Power Volt Switch not too nicely, gets him down into the red, and he gets a little bit back with Leftovers Recovery. But now that I have Sableye out, he's in trouble, so he's going to have to switch back into his Talonflame. Predicts the Will-O-Wisp very nicely, and yeah, that pretty much makes that turn moot for me. Goes for the Acrobatics, really doesn't do anything. Again, even with Life Orb, it's just makes no sense why you would have Acrobatics, not Brave Bird. So I get the Foul play off that does a lot of damage because Talonflame does have pretty decent attack. He didn't go for a Swords Dance or anything. That would have killed me with one hit if he did. But now he goes for the Flare Blitz. And that gets me down to 5 HP, and I get burned. Not the Life Orb recoil, just the Flare Blitz recoil knocks out the Talonflame. There's nothing to take the foul play. And even with the leftovers on the Sableye, the burn damage is going to kill him. So I feel like he kind of just sacrificed his Talonflame. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how that would have worked out had he not used Acrobatics on the first turn. But nonetheless, now he goes into Smeargle, which I really thought was going to be his lead, because Smeargle is such an amazing lead Pokemon, but maybe he was trying to fake me out. I don't know. So I get the Volt Switch off, and it breaks this Smeargle's Focus Sash. And I'm going to go back into Arcanine now. And I'm guessing that either Stealth Rock or Spore is coming. And he goes for the Spore. So now my Arcanine is asleep, which is kind of a problem. I was hoping it was going to be Stealth Rock instead, even though that just obliterates my Charizard. The extreme speed that I have on Arcanine is extremely valuable, and with him asleep, that could be a problem to pick off something in the future. So now he goes for a Sticky Web, and that makes extreme speed even more necessary, and there's nothing I can really do about it. So I'm going to have to take out this Smeargle with a Thunderbolt from Heliolisk, and now we're going to go back into Bankai. And thankfully, I've been able to really weaken this thing down with repeated Volt Switches, because he just kept switching in when he assumed that a Volt Switch was coming. So I got him down into the red initially. He gained a little bit back with Leftovers Recovery, and now he's just trying to stall out for more Leftovers Recoveries with King's Shield. He gets 2 in a row, and so he's avoiding the Thunderbolts. He's staying in defensive position, or defensive stance, so that's going to help him too. So I don't know. It's going to be close, but I end up with the Choice Specs Thunderbolt knocking out this Aegislash, and that really helps me a lot here, because if he had Sacred Sword, this Heliolisk would have been down in one hit, and that would have been it. But because I'm at full health, I'm able to take that Aqua Jet from this Beach Ball Azumarill pretty well, I guess. I mean, it does a little bit more than half, but I'm able to knock it out with a Thunderbolt. So now that's 2 offensive powerhouses down. We've got Meat Clam, the Cloyster left, who goes for the Ice Shard to try to outspeed me. And Heliolisk barely hangs on and is able to get rid of this Meat Clam. And yeah, just sounds weird when I say it like that, but whatever. Okay, so now we're down to Gardevoir, and I'm able to outspeed the Gardevoir as well and take it out with the Thunderbolts. So that pretty much does it for his team, and he could not stop the Heliolisk attack. It would have really helped him if he was able to get a Spore off on Heliolisk instead of Arcanine, but that was not the case. It also would have helped if he played that Talonflame a little bit better, but I guess there's not really much that he could do about it afterwards. So it was a good match overall. It lasted quite a bit, 20-something turns, so that was good. So what do we have planned? I do have a weather battle coming up. I think it's Rain versus Sun with this team. And then I have a couple of other teams that I have built and have some battles recorded ready to go. So we're going to be getting to that coming up as well. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next battle. Game on!